I've been on the low, taking my time. I feel like I'm out of my mind. I feel like my life ain't mine. I've been on the low, taking my time.
I've been diagnosed with PTSD 3 times by 3 different therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, whatever. I was molested as a child, as early as I could. It was probably the earliest memory I have. I want to say it was about 4 years old. And I think it continued on until maybe I was 7. I mean, I don't know. They say like when you go through a trauma, you try and forget. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But it was by relatives. It wasn't, you know, some random act that happened in a back alleyway with a stranger. It was someone in the family, and it happened for years and years and years, all the time. You know, it wasn't just a one time or sometimes, it was all the time. And that was when I was first diagnosed with PTSD, but I have moved on and I've dealt with that and I've come to terms with that. And there are so many women out there who will experience being sexually assaulted and molested, and I want you to know that it's hard, but you'll get through it and you'll just come to terms with what happened. And I don't want to say move on, but you'll just learn to accept what happened and really continue living, and you'll make the best of your life. So if you're going through that or you're healing from that, know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and it just takes time and help. So please get help. If you're needing help, please get help. But recently I cut my dad out of my life because my dad is not a good person. My dad manipulated me and controlled me for 18 years and 3 days of my life, is what I always say. I remember the night before I turned 18, you know, I was just so ready to get out of my dad's house. You know, I was so ready to go, and I literally packed my suitcase. I tried to take my car, but of course it wasn't my car, it was my dad's car, even though I was paying for it and had a job, and well, I had 3 jobs at the time. And I remember it being, it's February in Oregon, and I'm walking down the street and it's snowing. I'm walking down the highway and he's following me with his flashers on because I just want out. And he wanted to control me, and the day I turned 18 was like the best day of my life because I was free of someone so controlling and so manipulative. You know, how do you gain 200 pounds? You are a prisoner is how, and it's a way of coping. You know, food is comforting. I don't know anybody who doesn't love something that comforts them, and for me, food was that. Especially for so long. I mean, you know, a significant other, you know, is someone who can comfort you. A friend is someone who can comfort you. But as you get to know me, I didn't get to have a lot of friends because I was moving so often. I went to 11 schools before I graduated, and I graduated a year early because I had this pipe dream of graduating at 17 and being able to move out because I graduated high school, but unfortunately that's not how that went. And I was stuck living with my dad until literally the day I turned 18, and it was awful. I wish I had just stayed in school because at least I was able to be away from my dad for 9 hours a day at school. And then the 4 hours of work, 4 to 6 hours of work of hours I would try and pick up in the afternoon. I could tell you stories of like neglect and abuse, you know, he hated that I was fat. I mean, he hated that he had a fat child. And I think the eating, it came from the molestation and the assault, and I kept eating after, just from the psychological abuse of my father. And this is a lot, and I don't know why I didn't bring tissues in here. I'm so stupid. You know, one of the most traumatizing things I can remember is being on an egg diet in middle school, elementary school when I was living in Florida. I had to go on this egg diet where I literally ate eggs every single day. Every meal was eggs. I had to eat eggs, and eventually I got so tired of eating them that I threw up. And my dad says, here, throw up in this bowl. And so I throw the food up in the bowl, and he says, okay, here's a spoon, eat your throw up. And that was my punishment for throwing up the food that he was making me eat. I mean, or the time, you know, I backtalked and he punched me square in the nose and broke my nose, and he felt so bad he took me to SeaWorld that day. I mean, like, there's just, my whole life it was always like me, and, you know, there were as many times as a child that it was always me. It was always my fault. So, you know, he decided when I was 16 that he was going to open up credit cards in my name. He forged documents, legal documents on my name. So like if I was to pull up a credit report, it would say I'm actually like 26 years old. Because he forged documents, so now my credit's like all messed up. You know, he opened up all these credit cards and blew them up and left me with awful credit. I have like awful, I mean, it's made it so difficult being an adult. And even though we have great jobs, I mean, I'm still blocked by these decisions that my dad made for me when I was 16 that he did for himself selfishly. Like my car, I have an 18% interest rate, and you know, our house, we had to go through a private lender and to help buy our house. I mean, everything has been a struggle, like, even though we worked so hard. So it was the best decision was to, lately he has been asking for money, and asking to move in to our home that Randy and I share, and we've helped him out before, and he stayed with us before, and it did not work out. We've done that before, we've tried, and it did not work out. And so the answer was no. And then the next question was, well, I need money to live, because I'm sick and I'm dying, and you know, if you don't help me, I'm gonna die, and you know, why can't you just let me live with you until I die, because I'm dying. And you know, he's had cancer and been dying since 2008, and I just don't know. I hate to question anyone's sickness, but after 10 years and being at the hospitals with his other elements like gastroparesis and diabetes, they've never, ever, ever mentioned cancer. So I don't really know if he really has cancer or he doesn't, or if he's really as sick as he says he is and he's really gonna die any day. I mean, I feel like that's just been a tactic for me to be used by him for all this time, and I can't anymore. I have to worry about myself and my family and being healthy and taking care of me, and that's not, taking care of him does not fall into that equation. My marriage can't handle him here. I mean, there's just no way. So I can't deal with the guilt. Every time he contacts me, it's guilt, guilt, guilt. And that's how he gets me back in. It's the guilt of taking care of him, and he took care of me my whole life, and he was the only one who ever loved me, and no one will ever love me as much as he loved me, and stupid stuff like that. So, you know, I just can't let him back into my life. And so today, you know, with help of my therapist, the most logical option was to block him and cut off communication, because I can't do it anymore. I don't know, I can't. So that's kind of where I am. And I hope this is helpful to someone who's struggling with PTSD, or who is using food as comfort for PTSD, or anyone who is going through a mental hardship. Seek help, because it's helpful. That's why it's called help. because I think it does help. And I think even though I've only been going to therapy a short amount of time, it's helping me, and it's a painful process, but it's like, it's never hurt anyone to go to therapy. So I mean, what's the worst that happens is you get better, or you just stay the same. I don't think you're gonna get any worse. So that's just where I am mentally, I just really needed to get that out. I feel so much better now that I've kind of talked it out. But yeah, like I said, I hope someone who, I'm sure someone's going through something very similar, or feels trapped, or has PTSD. There's this huge stigma that people who have PTSD are only those who are in combat situations or who are in the military. That's definitely not true. I just hope this helps you. Because especially now that I'm hitting this like maintenance mode, I think it's really important that I don't go back to food as comfort, because that's the last thing I want to do is regain all of my weight after everything I've been through and all the struggles that I've been through. I would hate to find comfort in food while I deal with this trauma and situation, and then gain all my weight back, because then I feel like I've just started over, that I failed. And for me, failure is not an option, so I can't let myself do that. That's just kind of where I'm at with this vlog. I'm gonna end it here. Sorry if this doesn't make any sense. It's just really raw and really real in how I am today. And I don't want my vlog or anything to just be happy every day is wonderful and my life's so amazing. Like, I have struggles too. Everybody has struggles, and sometimes we just don't feel comfortable sharing them on the internet, but I think we should. I think it's helpful. I think if you share your experiences with other people are going to know that what they're going through is, they're not alone in what they're going through, and that it's okay, and there's healthy ways of going about getting treatment and help, and there shouldn't be a stigma on it. So while yes, everyone may seem to have happy lives on Facebook and Instagram and all their successes you see posted, you don't see the failures and behind the scenes. But I mean, as successful in our careers that we are, I'm very lucky that considering all the trauma that I've gone through, I didn't kind of deteriorate and go the other way. Instead, I persevered and pushed through. So there's, you if you're struggling, and you feel like you're going down that step of caving in and not being able to get through it, you could totally push through. It's 100% up to you. You are in control. And I hope you find help and control in that. But I'm going to end that here, and then get some rest and self-care and take care of myself. But everybody who has a happy life has gone through some sort of sad, traumatic event, so you're not alone. And even though no one shares, even though not a lot of people share it, you'd be surprised at who could be supportive and who could be there for you. So if you're going through something, please message me or seek help for sure, because you're not alone. And no matter, like I said, no matter how perfect someone's life may be, they too are struggling. So I wish you success, and I wish you happiness, and I hope you find this helpful if you're struggling, and I will see you guys later. So see you later, alligators. Bye.